All right, welcome to Life Extension Live. Dr. Crystal, we're not in South Florida anymore.
No, we're not. We are live on the scene.
That's right, in Denver, Colorado. We are at FNCE.
We are at FNCE, the Food Nutrition Conference by the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics.
Yeah, wonderful conference. We love coming here. We've been here, how many years now?
4, I think.
Is
I
it
believe
fourth year?
it's fourth
Sure.
year.
So we do live shows from here. Listen, I'm just going to warn everybody right now. We're from South Florida, where you sweat all the time. We come here to Colorado, and I'm drying out.
He is.
My throat maybe get a little itchy, so please forgive me as we work through this.
We forgive you, Dr. Mike.
Thank you, because we got an important show. We're going to be talking. Listen, people are constantly telling us. We hear it from the RDs that are here, registered dietitians. We hear it from Life Extension customers, friends, and families. Kind of sick of taking so many capsules.
Yeah, pill fatigue is real. And then you have people who just physically cannot swallow the capsules.
That's right.
Or the tablets.
We know some. We work with someone closely who can't swallow capsules.
We do.
He's right over there. His name's Robson. You can't see him.
So having alternatives is very important.
Yeah.
And that's something that Life Extension is doing now.
Right. So we're going to talk about bars and gummies, but specifically how to find healthy ones. So on today's show, we're going to talk about bars and gummies. We're going to talk about how do you know they're right for you? How do you know you're picking healthy ones? Because there's a lot of bars and gummies out there that you probably want to avoid. Right.
That's right.
So I want to start by doing this. So Dr. Crystal, between the two of us, you probably experiment more with what we call alternative formats, different ways of taking vitamins and minerals than I do. I'm kind of a straight capsule guy. Doesn't bother me. You know how I take them. I told you this. I put them all in my hand at once. I have I may have 15. Shove it down and boosh, done.
Okay, so yes, I do experiment. I like my bars. I do have some gummies. I keep one gummy by my bedside, a melatonin gummy. But my capsules and tablets, I do take them like that as well.
Shove them, get
You're
them all
a pro,
down.
Dr.
Yeah,
Mike.
we're a pro. We've been doing this a long time.
But many people cannot do that.
Right, and I know that you've. Let's talk about bars first.
Yeah.
Because I know that you have tried a lot of different bars. Working with you for many years now, I've seen you eat a lot of different bars.
Yes.
How do you know what's healthy? How do you know what's right for your family?
Yeah, so the first thing I do is look at the nutrition facts, Dr. Mike. I am not fooled, and you should not be fooled either by the marketing material on the label, because the front label will make you think this is the healthiest bar in the whole wide world, and it's not. So I look for bars with no added sugar. I think that's really important.
Explain added, though, because
added sugar.
That's different.
Right. So you want your sugar coming from natural ingredients. Dates, for example. That's often an ingredient that you find in bars that will have sugar, but the sugar is not added into the formulation. So it's almost, you kind of think about if you're baking a cake or you're making bars at home, you know, a brownie at home. If you decide to put dates in your brownie, that's one thing. The natural sugars coming from that ingredient versus you putting a half cup
more sugar
inside. And so when you look at your labels, you need to look for the sugars, of course, but most importantly, look for the added sugar. So that's something that I look for. I like a shorter ingredient list, Dr. Mike.
Great way to say it.
When that ingredient list is long and there are so many things, you know, if it's about that long, I'm not having it.
If you look at it and you just don't want to read it because it's too long,
right? Because it's so easy to make a good bar with good, real ingredients that you can read and that you understand. I also look for protein.
Protein's important too. Let me get because we've talked about that. You like? Oh wait, I already forget what you told me. Up to at least
10 grams.
10 grams
in a good bar. Now you'll find most bars. There's one that I give my kids. There's about 6 grams. So it all depends, and that's a lot for a kid.
It depends on the population you're talking about.
Right, but when you think about
a bodybuilder's going to want more than that.
Well, they do, but you may not get it all in a bar.
Right. If you are, that's a weird bar.
It may not taste good.
Right.
It may go from tasty to chalky, and that's what you typically find in the bars where they kind of are throwing a lot of protein at you at one time. And then you also find sometimes that a lot of protein can cause GI upset. So I like to stick around to about 10 grams.
Yeah, because you're going to get protein from other sources,
right?
Like, food sources and stuff. Talk about that ratio you always are lecturing me about.
Oh, yes.
Carb to fiber ratio.
I always talk about that. That's my favorite. So looking at your labels again, along with the added sugars, I also look at the amount of fiber in your bar.
Yeah.
Bars can give you good fiber, especially if there's chia seeds in there, maybe some quinoa. But I look at that ratio of the carbs to fiber because carbohydrates, there are multiple components that make up that one number. So you'll see carbohydrates as that first number, and then you'll see sugars and you'll see fibers. All of that is calculated into that total carb number. So I look at that carb to fiber ratio around 5 or less.
Five or less.
Meaning, if there's 25 grams of carbohydrates, at least 5 of that should be
from
fiber.
Yeah, that's good. I like
and that gives you a nice, well-rounded balance of nutrients for your bar.
Yeah. What about, people often ask, can I do these protein bars on a daily basis? Should I avoid that and try to focus more on the food protein? So, what do you think about that?
That's a good question, Dr. Mike. You can do them on a daily basis. I would say yes. I think they are a great way to give you a healthy snack. When you feel like you want to reach for a candy bar, you can grab a healthy bar, and now you're getting, real good fiber, protein, some carbs as well. So it's much better where you're having more nutrition that you're receiving from that bar. Yeah, it's a great way to fill in the gaps. But note that I'm saying fill in the gaps with your bars.
Right. Well, I want to get in, because I want to take that then to the next section more about protein.
Yeah.
Because I think that's really important. But I want to ask one last question about the no added sugars, right?
Okay.
So you can there's going to be some good bars out there that have sugars from natural sources.
Yeah.
But would you say if you're looking at a bar that is only from natural sources, you really shouldn't have more than 3 or 4 grams of sugar in that, right?
I don't know. It all depends, because some of the bars, like the first ingredient may be dates.
And that might.
I showed you a bar earlier.
Yeah, and that was like
today.
6 grams or something.
Right. So
Okay.
It all depends, but that's why you kind of have to also look at that fiber, because the fiber will offset some of that sugar. And the
helps,
sugar, it absorbs differently when it's bound to kind of the plant sources.
Yeah.
It absorbs slower into the bloodstream when
That's
you
a good
have
point.
that fiber around.
So that goes back to that ratio.
Yeah.
That 5-to-1 ratio. All right, let's move more into protein. I have a stat here. Right?
Okay.
About 50% of women and 30% of men, 71 and older, fall short of protein food recommendations. So we're just, and that's an older group, but I think you can extrapolate that to just about most adult populations.
You do find that people, especially women, and of course the older populations over 70, they're just not getting the amount of protein. And you've talked about, the specific health needs of protein as you get over to preserve muscle.
Yes, we got
right?
we talk about that all the time.
That is so important, and women need it as well when we're starting to go through that change of life. You need to preserve your muscle as best as you possibly can. And so the protein should be top of mind. I always think about breaking my fast, breakfast.
Yes,
Did you get it?
Yes, Dr. Chris. I think everybody's heard that before.
So when I'm breaking my fast with my breakfast, whether it's first thing in the morning or if I'm doing intermittent fasting, if it's at noon, protein is top of mind, like at least 25, 30 grams of protein in that first
to start
meal.
off, kick off
and
your day.
sometimes I have to kick it up and turn it up with the bar. Like
and
if
that's
I'm
fine.
having,
Yeah.
an egg or something, I add that bar in to pick it up.
We have the amount of protein in some of those.
Oh, yes.
But before we show that, Hannah, don't show it yet. I wanted to talk about how much protein you recommend. Like for every kilogram of weight.
Yeah.
You said, I have it here, but I'm not going to look at it.
Okay.
Because you've told me this how many times?
A million times. Let's see.
A kilogram. Well, I already know I'm going to get it wrong because I always round up.
Well, that's fine.
I say a kilogram of weight I keep it simple. That's 1 gram of protein, but you're a little less than that.
Right, 0.8 grams
come
per
on.
kilogram. But I don't mind you rounding up, and I'll tell you, Dr. Mike, I go even higher for some people, especially if they are older, if they're exercising. I may even go up to 1.5 grams per kilogram.
I agree. Yeah, if you need it, if somebody really needs it.
So some people, based on their needs, they may need higher, but RDA is 0.8, so we want to be accurate.
Okay.
Of course.
I'm going to remember it as 1-to-1. It's easy for me.
It makes it easy for just people. I mean, who can do that math?
Yeah,
Only
just 1-to-1. 1-to-1. Hey, so Hannah, we have some protein breakfast sources. Let's take a look at that. I was surprised to see they're not as high as I thought. Is that? I don't know.
I tell you, Dr. Mike, once I started my goal of getting at least 30 grams when I break my fast in the morning, I could barely eat enough. So I said, okay, I'll have 2 eggs. So that gave me 12.
That gives you 12, yeah. And that's a lot right there for most people. 2 eggs.
That's a lot, but there's still a lot to go if I'm trying to make it to 30, Dr. Mike, But these are giving you some good examples. If you have bacon, 4 slices of bacon, if you're eating that much, I don't know.
Don't you be mean to bacon.
12 grams of protein. Some nuts will give you 9 grams. So I usually have my couple of eggs. I'll have some cottage cheese or yogurt, which gives me more. I put nuts on top of that, and I slowly but surely get there. But I just want all of you out there to try. And then maybe what I have to do sometimes is pick up that bar. That's why you see me with the bars.
I understand. Yeah, you're filling in that gap that you were missing. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's about 25 grams of protein at breakfast. That's important. Before we move on to gummies real quick, a lot of people ask, can I just use a protein bar as a meal replacement?
Well, unless that protein bar specifically says meal replacement, no, it's not replacing your meal, because most protein bars may not have the ratio of the carbs, the proteins, and the fats that's needed in order to be classified as a meal replacement. So no, they're not replacing a meal. They are used as a healthy snack, an in-between snack.
A filler in the gapper.
A filler in the gapper that 2 o'clock p.m. and you are scrounging, or like you're trying to, dinner's coming in a couple of hours and you're trying to hold off.
Busy.
Yes.
Sorry.
There are lots of people in here. It may be getting louder too, if you can hear people in the background. But I love the energy here at FNCE,
I do.
Dr. Mike.
Here at our booth, we have coffee. We have samples of some of our bars and stuff. And people are checking them out and trying to.
And we're sampling our gummies too.
Yeah.
We're sampling this gummy.
Yeah, so let's just go into gummies.
Yeah.
Gummies have been an alternative format now for many, many years. But we always knew the issue really was sugar, often artificial flavors and colors.
Yeah.
But really not enough of the vitamins and minerals, to at least as much as we like people to get.
Right. The clinically validated doses is what's missing in your gummies. Just point blank period. And Dr. Mike, they're confectionaries. Let's just put it out there.
They are.
Brands formulate based on, this needs to taste good. That's top of mind.
Make it taste like candy.
It's almost like this is a candy.
Yeah, it is a candy.
Now, let's see if we can add a few vitamins, slap something on the label to make you think that it's healthy. And so there's a better way.
Yeah, for sure. And so Life Extension's been looking at a lot of this. We've opened up a nice gummy line. Most of our gummies, no added sugars.
That's right.
Low to no added sugars. No artificial colors, non-GMO.
Right, we use beet juice for example.
Beet juice for color.
Grape juice for coloring.
Yeah, so no artificial flavoring
and
all that kind of stuff. So we do think we're developing a pretty good line. So again, you got to be a good consumer. You got to look at that label, look at the back of the label, look at the added sugars, look for those artificial colors. You don't want those artificial flavoring. You want everything to be natural. Again, a short ingredient list.
Yeah, and if it tastes like candy,
it's candy.
It's candy.
Yeah.
And the amount of sugar, it adds up. Oftentimes we tell ourselves, oh, it's just 3 grams, it's just 4 grams here. But if you're the type of person where all you're consuming are gummies, then that 3,
That's a
that
lot.
4,
It adds up.
it adds up.
Yeah.
And so it's a lot. So I think I appreciate Life Extension for just sticking to who we are as a business and making sure people are able to live their healthiest lives and still be able to consume the supplements that they're looking for.
Listen, we recognize pill fatigue. If we don't offer healthy alternative formats, a lot of people just aren't going to do it. That's a compliance issue because they're sick of taking capsules. So there are healthy bars, there are healthy gummies. So we hope this was very helpful. One last question: people often ask about what absorbs better.
Oh,
Capsules versus gummies, tablets, that kind of stuff.
Yes.
I think overall, unless you found something new, for the most part, they have equal absorption. It's really just about preference.
It is about preference, Dr. Mike. Absorption happens in the small intestines.
Yeah.
So if it's a capsule, it's dissolving in your stomach. Everything's dissolving that's in the stomach, the upper GI. That's the area where everything's breaking down. And then once you get into the small intestines, it's absorbing. Now, I will have to say this. The only caveat, there are some nutrients where maybe they need to have some special enteric coating,
just to help get through the
delivery
stomach.
to get through the stomach. And so if it's that type of nutrient, then a capsule would be better for that purpose. But generally speaking, gummies, it's a preference.
Yeah, they're even. Great job. There's a lot of good information. So it's happy to be here at FNCE.
Yes.
It's really picking up. We got food samples to try.
There's so many places.
It's really why Dr. Crystal and I like to come. We like to go have the food samples. So thanks for joining us today. We have a special landing page for you, right?
Yes,
lifeextension.com/gummies. That's an article, right?
That is an article, Gummy Vitamins and Supplements. How good are they?
Yeah.
And it kind of goes into some of the details that we covered today.
Yeah, you can see it right there in the screen, lifeextension.com/gummies. Hey, thanks for joining us on this special live, right?
Yes.
Don't forget, normally we go live every Wednesday at 12 noon Eastern Time. Don't forget to like, share, and comment, and hit that interested button so you can always be alerted when we're going live. I'm Dr. Mike, and that is
Dr. Crystal.
Until next time.